Alright, what's going on, guys? So we're going to try to get after some panfish today. I'm going to be using my Sancor Avid Panfish Series rod, and it is going to be, it's going to be throwing this little 1/32 ounce jig head with a Nico caddisfly little soft plastic. So we're going to throw this thing around on this lake here in Weston. It is springtime, so hopefully the bluegills are coming in to spawn. Haven't been here in a few months, so I'm really not sure what it's going to look like. Right now I can see a lot of algae here close to shore, which will make fishing a little difficult, but we'll see if we can make some good things happen. So let's go ahead and let's give it a shot. Alright, so here's the lure we're going to be going with. If you look out in front of us, there is a ton of, I believe that's algae, I'm not really sure. This lake gets a lot of algae from time to time. I don't know what causes it, because it comes through at all different times of the year. But we'll try to fish a little bit past that and try not to bring in any algae with us. Let's flip this thing around, swim it back and twitch it a little bit. See if we can get some nice fish on it. There we go, fish on. Looks like a nice bluegill, yeah. First fish of the day. Let's get him on in here, nice bluegill. Alright, so first fish of the day is this very, very nice size copper-nosed bluegill. Got him close to shore. I can't really see through the water, so I can't tell if there's any beds around. But if these guys at this size are close to shore, they're probably either spawning or getting ready to spawn, and this is a really, really nice size one. So let's get this one back. Let's see if we can get some other ones of this size. That was another fish. It's a way smaller one. Right on the cast, on the drop. This is another bluegill, just of a little bit of a smaller size. Alright, so bluegill number 2. This is a slightly smaller, and I believe this is going to be a female. The last one I think was a male, also on the little Nico caddisfly. But this guy hit literally right on the drop as soon as my bait hit the water there. So 2 fish on 2 casts. Alright, let's get a better release on that guy, and let's keep going. There's another fish, also close to shore. Looks to be another bluegill. Yeah, another nice sized bluegill. Let's get him in. Alright, so we got ourselves another good looking bluegill, another nice sized one. 3 fish on 3 straight casts. This guy also came from really close to shore, so I think they probably are spawning. Like I said earlier, I can't see the beds just because it is a little cloudy. There's a little bit of a breeze which is stirring up the water up on top, so I can't see through the water. But if we got 2 nice fish like that within, 6 feet of the bank in some shallow water, it is springtime, so they are probably spawning. That's another one. That one's a little bigger maybe. But this is now 4 fish on 4 casts, so I might have found a great little spot here. This is another nice sized bluegill. Alright, so I've already caught a couple nice bluegill, and I think this one is bigger than the, definitely bigger than one of the previous ones, but I think it's bigger than 2 of the previous ones. Anyway, this is 3 really, really nice bluegills now on 4 casts, and 4 bluegills in total on the last 4 casts. So I might have found a really, really good spot here. That's another fish. I think that's going to be another bluegill and another solid size one. Let's get him in here. Alright, so this was about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 casts later, so we took a couple casts off without any bites, and then we got another, not big, but very, very nice, decent sized bluegill. Not as big as a couple of the ones we caught, but this is still a really good sized fish. So let's get this one back, and let's start moving down the bank here, see if we can find another spot where some of these bluegill are hiding. There's a fish, and I just pulled it out of its mouth. And it just took the Nico caddisfly with it. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the last Nico caddisfly that I brought with me. So, I don't know, this will be interesting. Let's see what else I can find in my book bag. Alright, so I found one badly beat up Euro tackle Anisoptera in there, so this is another one of my favorites. We'll throw this around. We'll see what we can get on this before it gets absolutely torn up to the point I can't use it anymore, and that was another bite already. Alright, so we got some fish out there. I think they're small fish though. Let me see if this is still in fishable shape, and it is. It's missing a couple legs and it's got some rips in it. But I think we can catch at least one fish on this. It seems like there's a couple out there. I got 2 hits on my last 2 casts. Alright, don't think there's anything on this cast. But there's some fish out there. Let's keep going. Let's see if I can get one more to bite here on the Anisoptera. That was another bite. I'm getting bites out there, they're just not getting hooked. They gotta be just a little bit too small for this. My torn up Anisoptera is still staying together in one shape. Or I guess it's still in shape, it's in one piece, even though that shape is pretty poor at this point. But we gotta get one fish, there we go. Finally, and he's off again. Alright, I can still see him, that's a tiny, tiny little bluegill. Maybe like 3-4 inches, something like that. Probably, probably about 3 inches. So I guess there are some really small bluegill out there. So I think we're gonna move on, because this has just been a pretty complete waste. I'm getting bites, but I don't even want to catch these little guys when I'm sure there's got to be some bigger fish close to shore spawning at this time. That's a fish. Smaller one. Actually, it's not that small. It's an okay sized bluegill, similar to the ones we were catching earlier. Nice fish. Alright, so first one on the Euro tackle Anisoptera. I've been getting plenty of bites on this thing. Just this is the first fish to actually get the hook in its mouth and me be able to get him to shore. I can't talk today. Alright, but solid sized bluegill. Not the biggest we got today, but this is a good size one. So don't know how many more we're going to get, but let's start by getting this guy back, move it a little bit down the bank, and let's see if we can find maybe one more of these guys before we call it a day. Alrighty, last spot on this lake we're gonna try today. There's usually some deep water back here. I don't know if there's gonna be any nesting bluegills, or I guess bedding bluegills is the better word for it. I guess nesting bluegills works too. They're on a bed or a nest, same thing, right? Yeah, let's see if we can catch one fish here maybe, and then we'll wrap it up, because I am pretty pleased with the way the day went. That one spot produced a bunch. Got one more nice one after that. Let's see if we can wrap it up with one last nice fish of some kind here. Oh, there's a bite. There's a largemouth. Not a big one, but I'm always afraid I'm going to lose these guys. I never think I hooked these guys well, and I was right. Did I call that or what? It's always those little guys I can't hook well. I think it's because they don't have enough body weight to like actually penetrate the hook, if that makes sense, right? The fish is big. There's enough pressure there as I pull the hook for the bass to kind of hold there and the hook to get set in its mouth. But the smaller fish, when I set the hook, the entire fish turns and moves with the hook, so there's not enough pressure there to get the hook point in the actual fish. At least that's my theory. That's what kind of makes me feel better, that I'm not just screwing something up here. But that was our first little largemouth of the day that we didn't get. I'm gonna make one more cast here, but I think that's gonna do it. If we get nothing on this cast, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Alright guys, so that's going to do it. Short little, roughly 1 hour trip. This might have even been a little bit less than an hour. Our target was really to get some nice sized bluegills. This lake is pretty good for those, especially in the spring as they come in closer to shore to spawn. It was kind of tough for me to see the bed just because it's later in the day, not a lot of sunlight, a lot of clouds, pretty windy, so there's a lot of ripples in the water. But I was able to see some every once in a while. That first spot, I didn't see any there, but I'm pretty sure there had to be a lot of beds there, just because we got a handful, I think, 4 or 5 really nice sized bluegills really close to shore from a little, I don't even know what to call it, maybe a 20, I don't even think it was a 20 by 10 foot, maybe like a 15 by 5 foot area. They were all just concentrated there really close to shore in the same spot. A little bit tougher on the other parts of the lake. I think I got one more bluegill from what I believe was, again, another bed, although I'm not positive, than over here. We could have had a little bit of diversity with that largemouth, but for some reason the smaller largemouths like that, they're a little harder for me to get the hook into and to keep the hook into them. So I don't think it's user error. It might be. I just think it's a little tough to get that hook to set since there's not enough pressure being pulled the other way as I'm setting the hook this way. I think that makes sense, right? Anyway, still a pretty solid day here. Got a couple nice bluegills. Hope you guys liked it, and I will see you guys next time.